Thank you, Chairman Clayton. I want to start by thanking the Division of Investment Management. At today's meeting, we are considering 3 different recommendations, at least in part, from the division, a reflection of the division's impressive work ethic in carrying out an important agenda. Since my arrival here in January, the division has been busy addressing issues with which the Commission has been grappling for a long time, including the roles and duties of advisors and brokers in assisting retail investors in their investment decisions, fund liquidity, internet availability of shareholder reports, the operation of exchange-traded funds, and the VOCA rule. As someone who started her career at the Commission in a rule-making office in the division, I know how unusual it is to put together so many recommendations in such a short period of time, let alone on such significant matters, particularly because the division did not relax its high standards in the process. I also want to thank the Division of Economic and Risk Analysis, DERA, and the Office of General Counsel. DERA and the Office of General Counsel are deeply involved in every rule-making undertaken by the Commission. The amendments to Forms N-Cord and N-1A we are considering today would rescind the requirement that certain open-end funds disclose aggregate liquidity classification information about their portfolios, replace that disclosure with a new requirement to disclose information about the operation and effectiveness of funds' liquidity risk management programs in their reports to shareholders, allow funds to assign multiple liquidity classification categories for a single position, and require reporting of holdings of cash and cash equivalents. These changes are sensible. I am especially glad to see that the adopting, release invites funds that believe they would have to maintain dual liquidity classification programs as part of their liquidity risk management to seek an exemption from the Commission from the classification requirements of Rule 22E-4 if they believe their existing systems would effectively accomplish the Commission's stated goals. 1. Maintaining 2 systems or changing current systems that already accomplish or exceed the Commission's goals is a waste of fund dollars and is not consistent with acting in the fund's best interest. I would have preferred to amend Rule 22E-4 at this time to eliminate the classification requirement altogether. At the very least, we could have taken the step recommended by the Department of the Treasury in its recent asset management report by adopting a principles-based approach to liquidity risk management rulemaking and any associated bucketing requirements. 2. Some others would like to forge ahead with the original plan to make funds aggregate bucketing information public. A bucketing schema that is inherently arbitrary, however, does not produce the type of data that informs investors, let alone lends itself to cross-fund comparisons. Providing investors a set of imprecisely generated percentages would not empower them, but might mislead them. We may not all agree on how much disclosure is the right amount, but certainly all of us can agree that we ought not force funds to provide their shareholders with information that is empty of meaningful content. I do not see much point in forcing funds to provide such information to the Commission either, but we at the Commission are used to collecting data and ignoring it. Quantifying the impact of rules is not a simple job that just involves putting in some numbers. Numbers only are useful if they are based on more than unsubstantiated speculation. The costs and benefits of the fund liquidity amendments we are considering today are based on a rule and a form with which funds are not yet required to comply. Therefore, it is understandably difficult to quantify accurately and definitively the costs and benefits of the recommended amendments. The release does, however, identify the problem we are trying to solve and considers the costs and benefits of the solution we are adopting, as well as possible alternatives to that solution. In formulating the approach we are adopting today, we took into account the implementation experience to date. That experience has provided us new insights into how bucketing might work in practice and has made more apparent the potential that the rule would generate less than useful information. Although I am a proponent of investor testing, I cannot see why we would need to ask investors whether they want to receive data that is neither useful in understanding any particular fund's liquidity requirement nor comparable across funds. It is better to refine a rule before it goes into effect, as we are doing today, than to cling with Pollyannish tenacity to the rule as we originally adopted it. Thank you again to the staff. I have no questions. 1. See Investment Company Liquidity Disclosure, Investment Company Act Release No. 33142, June 28, 2018, a text accompanying Note 120. 2. See USDEPT of the Treasury, a financial system that creates economic opportunities, asset management, and insurance, October 2017, at 34.